Guidelines for phased reopening Unlock 2. Activities permitted during Unlock 2 period outside containment zones. In areas outside containment zones, all activities will be permitted except the followings. Point 1. Schools, colleges, educational and coaching institutions will remain closed till 31st July 2020. Online distance learning shall continue to be permitted and shall be encouraged. Training institutions of the center and state governments will be allowed to function from 15 July 2020, for which standard operating procedure will be issued by the Department of Persons and Training. Point 2. International air travels of passengers except as permitted by MHA. Point 3. Metro rail. Point 4. Cinema halls, gymnasiums, swimming pools, entertainment parks, theaters, bars, auditoriums, assembly halls, and similar places. Point 5. Social, political, sports, entertainment, academic, cultural, religious functions, and other large congregations. Dates for restarting the above activities may be decided separately, and necessary SOPs shall be issued for ensuring social distancing and to contain the spread of COVID-19. Domestic flights and passenger trains have already been allowed in a limited manner. Their operations will be further expanded in a calibrated manner. Point 2. Night curfew. Movement of individuals shall remain strictly prohibited between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. throughout the country, except for essential activities, including operations of industrial units in multiple shifts, movement of persons and goods on national and state highways, loading and unloading of cargo, and travel of persons to their destinations after disembarking from buses, trains, and airplanes. Local authorities shall issue orders in the entire area of their jurisdictions under appropriate provisions of law, such as under Section 144 of CRPC, and ensure strict compliance. Point 3. National directives for COVID-19 management. National directives for COVID 19 management, as specified in Annexure 1, shall continue to be followed throughout the country. Point 4. Lockdown limited to containment zones. Point 1. Lockdown shall continue to remain in force in the containment zones till 31st July 2020. Point 2. Containment zones will be demarcated by the district authorities after taking into considerations the guidelines of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare with the object of effectively breaking the chain of transmission. These containment zones will be notified on the websites by the respective district collectors and by the states, UTs, and informations will be shared with Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Point 3. In the containment zones, only essential activities will be allowed. There shall be strict perimeter control to ensure that there is no movement of people in or out of these zones, except for medical emergencies and for maintaining supply of essential goods and services. In the containment zones, there shall be intensive contact tracing, house to house surveillance, and other clinical interventions as required. Guidelines of MOHFW shall be effectively implemented for the above purpose. Point 4. Activities in the containment zones shall be monitored strictly by the state, UT authorities, and the guidelines related to containment measures in these zones shall be strictly implemented. Point 5. State UTs may also identify buffer zones outside the containment zones where new cases are more likely to occur. Within the buffer zones, restrictions as considered necessary may be put in place by the district authorities. Point 5. States, UTs, based on their assessment of the situation, may prohibit certain activities outside the containment zones or impose such restrictions as deemed necessary. However, there shall be no restriction on interstate and intrastate movement of persons and goods, including those for cross land border trade under treaties with neighboring countries. No separate permission approval e-permit will be required for such movements. Point 6. Movement of persons with SOPs. Movement by passenger trains and Shramik special trains, domestic passenger air travel movement of Indian nationals stranded outside the country and of specified persons to travel abroad, evacuation of foreign nationals, and sign on and sign off of Indian seafarers will continue to be regulated as per SOPs issued. Point 7. Protection of vulnerable persons. Persons above 65 years of age, persons with comorbidities, pregnant women, and children below the age of 10 years are advised to stay at home except for essential and health purposes. Point 8. Use of Arogya Setu. Point 1. Arogya Setu enables early identification of potential risk of infection and thus acts as a shield for individuals and the community. Point 2. With a view to ensuring safety in offices and workplaces, employees on best effort basis should ensure that Arogya Setu is installed by all employees having compatible mobile phones. Point 3. District authorities may advise individuals to install the Arogya Setu application on compatible mobile phones and regularly update their health status on the app. This will facilitate timely provisions of medical attention to those individuals who are at risk. Point 9. Strict enforcement of the guidelines. Point 1. State UT governments shall not dilute these guidelines issued under the Disaster Management Act 2005 in any manner. Point 2. All the district magistrates shall strictly enforce the above measures. Point 10. Penal provisions. Any person violating these measures will be liable to be proceeded against as per the provisions of Section 51 to 60 of the Disaster Management Act 2005. Besides, legal action under Section 188 of the IPC and other legal provisions as per applicable. Extract of these penal provisions are at Annexure 2.